Hurry and do a quick one tonight. So, we were joking about ASMR, or whatever the hell that shit's called. I kind of dropped a pretty funny one on that one. If you guys are curious, hopefully you get some good laughs about it. ASMR with douchebags or enema bulbs or, soy boys on GunTube. But anyways, I dropped that out there. I heard something today. Well, I see it all the time too in comment sections on chats. I don't know about you guys, but sometimes reading the comment sections is more entertaining than the video of somebody you watched. Unfortunately, nobody watches my videos, so my comment sections don't have as much funny shit. But I get like such a huge kick out of it. Like, you've got people like, oh dude, I work in a custom AR-15 shop. And I'm like, oh, okay, cool. So like, you do mill work, do you, god damn stand, man, I gotta get a new one. Do you do mill work? Like, what exactly is it? Oh, we put like Magpul grips on and telescoping stocks and all that stuff. And like, that's not really gunsmithing for starters. Number two, I guess it's customizing in a sense because you're not using factory, whatever, going factory. But, I'm just like, And for those of you guys out there who, bust out the mill, 3D print, do all that stuff, as far as like making your own, I've bought a few of those 80%ers, and they're actually a lot of fun, knock them out with a drill press, but, it's fun to do so. I've got a bunch of 1911 frames and, a shit ton of those P80s and whatever, but, just to hear the whole customized or whatever, it's just really funny because it isn't every AR-15 customized. Mine is Colt. Mine's Colt, M4, but Colt Commando. But like, the stock I put on the Gunfighter stock because I don't like the original stock for it. Fortunately that's Magpul, but I don't consider that doing major gunsmithing or custom work. It's, you unscrew your buffer tube, you screw the new one back in, and boom, you're done. Simple as that. But, it's just fun because you get to see all these people that just think they know everything about guns and shit, and all they've done is play like Call of Duty, and you can definitely tell when it's like 12-year-olds or like somebody who's a virgin who plays too many video games, like, I don't know, somebody in their 40s maybe even, shit. But when they're talking about like, oh yeah, dude, how do you rank your gun up? And I'm just like, ranking your gun up? I'm just like, upgrade, like upgrading it or something, like putting a different trigger on it, and then no, like, after this dude seriously thought that after you shot your gun so many times that your gun actually gets better. You would think the person gets better shooting the gun, but the gun gets better in this person's opinion. And then I'm just like, man, maybe there's some shit out here I really don't want to read, because then I just read and think about how fucking dumb some people can be sometimes, and it just blows my mind. Depending on whatever like concealed carry training you go to, for instance, they'll, a lot of it's the basics, a lot of it's going to be the same, but every instructor is always going to have different terms and things like that. When you've got a drill instructor, when you're out the range or whatnot, right out of boot camp and you're at school of infantry or something like that, they use all sorts of lingo, like rather than your trigger finger, it's your booger hook, stuff like that. But these guys are like all technical and precise, like, oh yeah, then you move the gun into position 2 and 3 and all this stuff. And it's just, nobody comments like that, in the real world. And so it's just, I don't know, it's just funny to me. Their terminologies, most of them are correct, but still, I just think about it, I'm like, yeah, I don't think I've ever heard anybody call it that outside of some sort of classroom, maybe. Who knows? But, I don't know. I got funny shit I'll be posting in the comments, my community tablet, some of these comments, man, because they're freaking hilarious. As I'm going over, like, I was going through some old stock footage, and I've been putting those malfunction prevention ones up and everything like that, because, let's be honest, man, if you're out there shooting, if you're at the range and you have a malfunction, it's one thing. But, if you're in a situation where you can't really afford to lose a single second of time because it's life or death threatening, good for people to be aware of what they can train and try to learn to do. And I mean, for instance, firearm malfunctions. So many people think, oh, well, that's just easy, man. All you got to do is just eject the magazine and whatever. No, it's not necessarily true on all of it. I mean, some of them, like, I mean, they're ranked, but like, the most simple is where your trigger, just clicks and you get a light primer strike. And that could be something as stupid as some too much powder residue covered the back of the slide, right where your channel and everything pops out for your firing pin, and it's not getting a hard enough strike going in far enough to ignite your primer. But it's firearms. One thing people should know is they're very temperamental things. I mean, granted, you can beat the crap out of them, don't get me wrong, but it's like, a tiny piece of dirt, or you've got people using the wrong types of gun oils, and so it's just collecting all sorts of crap. I mean, it's, small things to fine tune everything to, but, I mean, it's like limp wristing. A lot of people didn't know. I mean, if you're out there shooting a pistol and you have no control over that recoil or whatnot, man, and that gun's just going all over. I mean, it's you can easily cause a malfunction. Either you'll stovepipe, which is, it fails to extract and eject, your old casing, or, it doesn't go all the way back into battery because you get a nose up jam. I mean, it's nuts to think about these things, but, you train for it. Tap rack bang is always the first and quick. It's the first one you'll always learn. And then you get to like, I dropped the one earlier when you're having feeding issues. Feeding issues, those are the ones they're a bitch, because depending on what type of gun you have, if it's older, they can be more temperamental. A lot of them have like Browning high powers, for instance, they have the safety mechanism in them where the hammer won't drop unless you have a magazine inserted. Of course, you can take that off if you want to. But I don't recommend, I don't like people fucking with guns and doing anything like that with the safety features. I leave them alone. Those are the one part of the gun don't mess with. But, but that just little tiny piece, being out of place can cause, can cause malfunction, and then you're jammed up. And sometimes, and I don't know about you guys, but if you've had nasty pistol jams, you've got a double feed. The pressure on that, man, you can't even get the magazine out. And then the scary part is, especially older ones, single action pistols, or, with just the pull of the trigger and the hammer falls, it could go off. And, I've seen people flagging people, screwing around with guns, doing stuff like that. The best thing to always do, and, I'll probably drop a video with this because I don't think I've ever actually said this before in a video, but when you have a malfunction, you guys have all seen the breathing positions and everything like that we've covered and I've gone over with your stances, but point your muzzle down at the ground. The importance of that, having it pointed at the ground, the second your firearm, if you're not shooting, you're disengaged, take your finger right off the trigger immediately and just practice. I mean, practice doing that. I would just recommend you can do that at home with even dry firing. You just get the mental muscle memory and all that, so you subconsciously do it, which has always been a pretty big theme on my channel, just repetition over and over. But I mean, you get to the point where you shoot around and you'll just take your finger off without even thinking about it, and then when you're ready to go back in and keep going, I mean, these are just really simple, common things, and they might sound goofy or look goofy, but you know what? They pay off. When you've no negligent discharges. But that's just something to think about. With malfunctions, no different. If the slide doesn't go all the way back into battery, and for all you that don't know the lingo, battery is when you've racked it or charged it, your slide goes all the way forward, hammers back, or striker's back. Well, striker, you have to actually pull the trigger on Glocks and anything that's a double pull. But like, one thing you always have to be cautious with is if your hammer and your firing pin is sticking out on some of these older guns, you eject your magazine out the bottom, that top round drops down with it, usually out through your magazine well. You still could have a cartridge or a casing or a round, depending whatever you want to call it right now, still in the chamber. It might, you know, you don't know if it's a live round, if it, I don't know, failed to eject. It could be any of the above. Still treat it as though it's live regardless, because I've seen people also automatically assume that once they drop that magazine and then that other round fell down, they've had it pointed right up. And I've actually seen somebody negligent discharge doing that, and they were probably about 8 feet from me, and I told them straight up, I was like, dude, if you ever shoot like that or do that around me again, I'll shoot you myself. Because, like, quite frankly, man, that's a great way to turn somebody into a human Pez dispenser. So, you know, you get that type of training down where safety subconsciously that, okay, pointed at the ground, you know, magazines ejected, you know, got it all out, whatever. That, you know, that's the way to do it. You know, like, I'm at the range quite a bit, like range etiquette. And this is another one that's just a huge, huge safety thing that I notice people do all the time, and it drives me nuts. You know, they'll get done shooting at the outdoor range. Some of them don't have a bar stop. Some places, especially out here in South Dakota, I mean, even my place that I shoot, you know, there isn't some big counter that goes across or anything like that blocking it. It's, you know, if you're, depending who's shooting, you can go as close to the targets or as far away. Usually, that being the case, I'm the only one out there when I'm filming. But keep the muzzle pointed at the ground and out that way, not towards where all the people are in the parking lot and all this stuff when you're trying to fix a malfunction. But you know, these are just things that most people don't stop to think about. You know, a common issue, you know, when you're out shooting at the range or something like that, and I see this happen more with left-handed people because, you know, unfortunately, firearms for us, the majority of them are made for all you guys that are right-handed. And that's why I started learning to shoot right-handed, just because I got tired of getting hit in the face with brass. But, you know, you'll get a person will get a hot one that goes down their shirt. They won't set the gun down. They've still got it in their hand, fingers still in the trigger, and they're like over there jumping, trying to get this around. And I mean, like, you know, it's just quick. You think it's common sense, but it's easier said than done. I mean, like, as far as training goes, stuff like that, that's why you do it. Now, can you prevent every bad thing from happening? Hopefully. Quite frankly, hopefully. But, you know, it's just another discipline. It's just more practice and repetition. But these are just, you know, some things to think about. I'm going to put content out for it for sure. But I mean, it's simple, but at the same time, it's kind of not. Because the other thing is also, and I have to take into thought, a lot of you guys live out in big city areas and you can't go shooting and train as often. And that's why, you know, I try to recommend, like I said, try to do as many dry fire drills as you can. You know, without, I don't know how, I know some of the states like Chicago, or cities, Chicago and like New York and all that, firearms are pretty restricted down or whatnot, or you're not allowed to have them in city limits or anything, period. Doesn't mean people don't have them, especially criminals, but hey, gotta love those law-abiding criminals, guys. But, you know, someplace like where you have room where you can just do a draw, trigger discipline exercises, bring it back in, breathing exercises or whatever. And then, you know, once you're able to get out and go shoot, do some of the malfunction drills. I mean, because really malfunction drills, you know, the only way they really work is you don't know when it's going to happen. And that's kind of like when I put the instructions down on that clip. Don't look at the mag when you're loading it. Hey, Sonny. Yeah, a lot of law-abiding criminals, my friend. A lot of them. They'll do the right thing and disarm. We can count on them, guys. Criminals will do the right thing. But, you know, it's like, well, if you're going to cheat, put a snap cap in and you know which round it is. You know, it defeats the purpose on it. And, you know, the other thing is like fixing a malfunction or whatnot. You see guys trying to go super fast and whatnot. Okay, yeah, you do want to clear your firearm, correct your malfunction, and get engaged back into whatever you know, if you're in a real life situation. Until then, though, if you're out training and practicing, you don't need to go fast. You don't need to try to look cool, man. Just you go with the flow till you're comfortable and you've got the muscle memory to do it, and then you move it and go. You know, it's kind of the same concept I've spoke about before. You know, when you're drawing your firearm, you know, you're at high ready, you shoot, come back to high ready, and then you go to reholster. When you're reholstering, you know, you never need to hurry when you're reholstering your firearm. And the reason is your threat's taken out, so you don't have anything to worry about at that point. So there's no need to be in a rush. There are a lot of negligent discharges with that, and you know, some people either they don't have a good holster, and if it's leather can flex and bend depending on what kind you have. Snaps, vinyl, sometimes that can happen as well. But sliding that holster down in, I mean, you got to be pretty cautious and careful with it. But you know, that's really, there's no hurry for that stuff. But you know, that's kind of my words of wisdom. But if you guys would, yeah, check out that ASMR clips. I don't know, I thought it was funny. I gotta stick fucked up humor though. But I mean, who's got tactical enema bulbs, man? Only Johnny Q, right? What was the other thing? Shit, I had something else cool I was gonna say, but I totally spaced it. Probably come back to me later. But I'll have a few more videos dropped tomorrow. You guys all have a good evening. Thanks for everybody that's watched and checked out my channel. Sonny, thanks again, dude, for all your help. Everybody go check out Sonny short clips. He's got some cool stuff. He goes over some good points. A lot of self-defense stuff too. So check that out, guys. The few people that watch this that are probably from him that came over here to watch my show, go back over to Sonny's and subscribe to him, damn it. But you guys have a good night, man. Take care.